All right, let's dive right in. We are watching a massive global showdown over the future of energy. You've got this incredible worldwide ambition for nuclear power to fight climate change, crashing head-on into the brutal reality of how hard it is to actually build these things. And right in the middle of that collision, you've got China. Let's break down what's happening. It all kind of boils down to this one simple number, 3x. Now, this little multiplier, it represents one of the biggest, most ambitious shifts in global energy policy that we've seen in a long, long time. It's a number that's already sending shockwaves through the markets. So what on earth does it mean? Well, it means this. There's a new global pledge on the table to triple the world's entire nuclear energy capacity by the year 2050. And the reason behind it is pretty clear. Countries are getting desperate for a source of power that's not only carbon-free, but that's also reliable, running 24/7. And when you look at the options, nuclear is one of the only technologies that really fits that bill. Now look, for a while, this was mostly a Western-led idea. But then, on December 5th, everything changed. That's when China officially signed on. And that was a total game changer. All of a sudden, you've got 34 countries on board, representing nearly 2/3 of the whole global economy. This isn't just some nice idea in a policy paper anymore. With China's industrial power behind it, this pledge has some serious teeth. Okay, so this brings us to the real tension in this whole story, the core economic problem. On one side, demand for the fuel, for uranium, is absolutely set to skyrocket. I mean, it's simple, right? You can't triple the number of nuclear plants without tripling the demand for their fuel. But on the flip side, the supply is in real trouble. After years and years of low prices, nobody was investing, and the uranium mining industry just isn't ready for this. And listen, this isn't some theoretical what-if problem. It's happening right now. The world's biggest uranium producers are actually cutting their production. You can see it right here. Giants like Kazatomprom in Kazakhstan and Cameco in Canada, they've announced major reductions. And with the old Cold War stockpiles just about gone, it means that right when demand is about to explode, the actual supply is shrinking. So you'd think that supply and demand gap was dramatic enough, right? But then, a completely new source of demand just walked onto the field. Something that nobody, and I mean nobody, had in their forecasts even a couple of years ago. And that new customer is artificial intelligence. Just think about it for a second. The big tech giants are in an all-out race to build these enormous AI data centers. And these things are just unbelievably thirsty for power. They need gigantic amounts of electricity, it has to be on all the time, and they've all promised to be carbon-free. So what checks all of those boxes? Nuclear power. And remember, this is brand new demand just piled right on top of that global pledge to triple capacity. Okay, the demand picture is crystal clear. The world needs a lot more nuclear power, and it needs it fast. The only question left is actually building the power plants, and that should be pretty straightforward, right? Yeah, not so much. This map here, it tells a completely different and, frankly, a pretty painful story. Each of those dots is one of these next-generation reactors, the so-called EPRs. They were supposed to be safer, more advanced, but instead, they've become poster children for just catastrophic cost overruns and absolutely crippling delays. The IEFA, the group that made that map, puts it pretty bluntly. With almost any other technology, cars, computers, phones, the more we build, the better, faster, and cheaper we get at it. We call it a learning curve. But with these giant nuclear reactors, the exact opposite has been happening. They actually seem to get more expensive and take longer to build every time we try. I mean, just to see how bad it can get, let's just look at this one example, the Flamanville reactor in France. The original price tag was 3.3 billion euros. The cost today? It's ballooned to 13.2 billion. That is 4 times the original budget. It was supposed to be finished in 2012. Now, maybe it'll be ready in 2024, a full 12 years late. And believe me, this isn't just a one-off problem. This table shows it's a consistent pattern. In Finland, their reactor was 14 years late and nearly 4 times over budget. We just saw Flamanville in France. Even in China, the Taishan project hit major delays and technical problems. The track record pretty much everywhere on the West is, well, it's abysmal. So this brings us to the big, central question of this whole thing. We have this huge global ambition to build more nuclear, but the Western world has proven again and again that it can't really do it on time or on budget. So if it's such a nightmare, why is China not just going along with it, but doubling down and trying to lead the charge? And the answer is that China isn't really playing the same game as everyone else. Their strategy is way more comprehensive. They aren't just thinking about building the power plants. As you can see from this diagram, they are systematically trying to control every single step of the entire process, from digging the uranium out of the ground to recycling the used fuel at the end. You can really break their playbook down into 4 clear steps. Step 1, build a massive fleet of reactors at home and do it faster than anyone has ever done before. Step 2, go out into the world and lock up all the uranium fuel you'll need for decades. Step 3, master all the complex technology for enriching and reprocessing that fuel yourself. And then, the final step, the end game, start exporting your own reactors and your expertise to the rest of the world. This quote right here just nails the key difference. It all comes down to execution. When Western countries announce these big nuclear plans, it's often just that, a policy, an ambition. But when China announces nuclear ambitions, it's not a wish list, it's a shopping list. The procurement orders are already going out the door. They have a state-driven machine designed to turn plans into concrete and steel. So here's where we're at. It's this huge global showdown. On one side, you've got the bull case, the absolute necessity of fighting climate change, the insane demand from AI, and the simple fact that China has proven it can actually build this stuff. But on the other side, you've got the bear case, a terrible history of delays, costs that just keep soaring, and constant technical problems, not to mention competition from renewables that are getting cheaper every day. Which leaves us with one last massive question. The world absolutely needs a staggering amount of carbon-free power if we have any hope of meeting our climate goals. And given how much the West has struggled, is China's state-driven, all-in-one nuclear machine the only realistic answer we have left? Or are we just watching them place the single most expensive energy gamble in human history?